37. Immaculate Perception.
We've grown used to Zarathustra making speeches against groups of people who hold ideas he objects to. In this discourse, however, he will talk about something else. Or will he?
When yester eve the moon arose, then did I fancy it about to bear a son, so broad and teeming did it lie on the horizon. But it was a liar with its pregnancy, and sooner will I believe in the man in the moon than in the woman. To be sure, little of a man is he also, that timid night reveller. Verily with a bad conscience doth he stalk over the roofs. For he is covetous and jealous, the monk in the moon, covetous of the earth and all the joys of lovers.
This discourse is inspired by Zarathustra seeing the full moon over the horizon, where the moon appears to be bigger. For some reason, it makes him launch a tirade against it. Looks like we do indeed, finally, have him talking about something other than depraved humans. The moon looked so big that it appeared to be pregnant, but Zarathustra denies that the moon is a woman. That is, that it has the ability to give birth, or, in other words, to create. Then he says that it is not a man either. That is, it isn't driven to conquer and satisfy its desires with what the earth has to offer. It just hovers above the earth, coveting it, but never quenching its thirst. And here is where we realize that he is, once again, talking about depraved humans. The moon becomes a metaphor for those people who repress their desires and are jealous of those who do not.
Nay, I like him not, that tomcat on the roofs. Hateful unto me are all that slink around half-closed windows. Piously and silently doth he stalk along on the star carpets, but I like no light-treading human feet, on which not even a spur jingleth. Every honest one's step speaketh. The cat, however, stealeth along over the ground. Lo, cat-like doth the moon come along, and dishonestly.
The allegory here is of people who have no presence, who perform no actions. But they still have the same desires as other humans, so they satisfy them by becoming voyeurs. They just slink around and secretly spy on the actions of others.
This parable speak I unto you, sentimental dissemblers, unto you, the pure discerners. You do I call covetous ones. Also ye love the earth, and the earthly. I have divined you well. But shame is in your love, and a bad conscience. Ye are like the moon.
The metaphor is spelled out. The people he talks of pretend not to be driven by earthly desires, but Zarathustra calls them out on their hypocrisy, and claims that they are the most covetous of all.
To despise the earthly hath your spirit been persuaded, but not your bowels. These, however, are the strongest in you. And now is your spirit ashamed to be at the service of your bowels, and goeth byways and lying ways to escape its own shame. That would be the highest thing for me, so saith your lying spirit unto itself, to gaze upon life without desire, and not like the dog with hanging out tongue.
These people aspire to transcend earthly desires. They believe it will make them pure and saintly. But their body wants otherwise, and it is stronger.
To be happy in gazing, with dead will, free from the grip and greed of selfishness, cold and ashy grey all over, but with intoxicated moon eyes. That would be the dearest thing to me. Thus doth the seduced one seduce himself, to love the earth as the moon loveth it, and with the eye only to feel its beauty. And this do I call immaculate perception of all things, to want nothing else from them but to be allowed to lie before them as a mirror with 100 facets.
What is behind their ideology is the belief that earthly life is a life of suffering, and the most one can hope for is a life without suffering. They do not realize what Zarathustra is trying to teach us, that life can be about flying high and achieving ever new peaks of joy. So they try to become devoid of any desires and wills, and just gaze upon the earth and appreciate its beauty.
O ye sentimental dissemblers, ye covetous ones, ye lack innocence in your desire, and now do ye defame desiring on that account. Verily, not as creators, as procreators, or as jubilators do ye love the earth. Where is innocence? Where there is will to procreation, and he who seeketh to create beyond himself hath for me the purest will. Where is beauty? Where I must will with my whole will, where I will love and perish, that an image may not remain merely an image.
What they don't realize is that there is another way. They are ashamed of their vulgar cravings, so they try to transcend them. But the cravings will always remain part of them, and since they do nothing about them, they remain vulgar. Alternatively, one can shape and channel his impulses and cravings, and turn them towards creative endeavors. Then you become truly pure, truly transcend vulgarity, and achieve real beauty.
Loving and perishing, these have rhymed from eternity. Will to love, that is to be ready also for death. Thus do I speak unto you cowards. But now doth your emasculated ogling profess to be contemplation, and that which can be examined with cowardly eyes is to be christened beautiful. O ye violators of noble names! But it shall be your curse, ye immaculate ones, ye pure discerners, that ye shall never bring forth, even though ye lie broad and teeming on the horizon. Verily ye fill your mouth with noble words, and we are to believe that your heart overfloweth, ye cozeners.
To create is to become part of the cycle of life and death, of becoming and perishing. But these immaculate people think that they should detach from this cycle, and in this way achieve non-suffering. They created a language in which this passive and pathetic state is described as the highest and most noble of all states. Zarathustra claims to see right through their deceptive language. They know no real happiness, no real beauty, and their words are empty.
But my words are poor, contemptible, stammering words. Gladly do I pick up what falleth from the table at your repasts. Yet still can I say therewith the truth to dissemblers. Yea, my fish bones, shells, and prickly leaves shall tickle the noses of dissemblers.
His words, on the other hand, are contemptible. Zarathustra, of course, is speaking here from the point of view of contemporary culture, which has been shaped by these immaculate ones. The people of today, speaking the language that they created, believe them that this passive state is indeed the highest form of existence, and hold Zarathustra in contempt for his sensual and ecstatic prose. But he doesn't care. He took these words that they made unholy, and turned them into something pure and powerful, which he now uses to call out their hypocrisy.
Bad air is always about you and your repasts. Your lascivious thoughts, your lies and secrets are indeed in the air. Dare only to believe in yourselves and in your inward parts. He who doth not believe in himself always lieth. A god's mask have ye hung in front of you, ye pure ones. Into a god's mask hath your execrable coiling snake crawled.
This segment can be confusing, because first he berates them for their lascivious thoughts, but then tells them that they should follow the impulses of their body. Aren't these lascivious thoughts also among the natural impulses? No, such thoughts are what happens when you repress the impulses, instead of channeling them in positive directions. The Immaculate Ones pretend to be saintly, but behind their mask they are more twisted than anyone.
Verily ye deceive, ye contemplative ones. Even Zarathustra was once the dupe of your godlike exterior. He did not divine the serpent's coil with which it was stuffed. A god's soul I once thought I saw, playing in your games, ye pure discerners. No better arts did I once dream of than your arts. Serpent's filth and evil odour the distance concealed from me, and that a lizard's craft prowled thereabouts lasciviously.
Zarathustra admits that he was once also deceived by their duplicitous tongue and mask. Some of the greatest philosophers held such beliefs, and he is admitting that he, too, was once under their spell.
But I came nigh unto you. Then came to me the day, and now cometh it to you. At an end is the moon's love affair. See, there, surprised and pale doth it stand, before the rosy dawn. For already she cometh, the glowing one. Her love to the earth cometh. Innocence and creative desire is all solar love.
When the sun rises, with its light that comes from an inner burning power, the moon grows pale, and eventually disappears from sight. In the same way, the Immaculate ones should fear that philosophies based on creation, not contemplation, will expose them for what they are, and usurp them.
See there, how she cometh impatiently over the sea. Do ye not feel the thirst and the hot breath of her love? At the sea would she suck, and drink its depths to her height. Now riseth the desire of the sea with its 1,000 breasts. Kissed and sucked would it be by the thirst of the sun, vapour would it become, and height and path of light, and light itself.
The sun, in this metaphor, is the opposite of the moon. It burns, it creates its own heat, it pulls things towards it, it is driven by desire to drink the earth, and it acts upon this desire. It presents something much more powerful.
Verily like the sun do I love life, and all deep seas. And this meaneth to me knowledge. All that is deep shall ascend to my height. Thus spake Zarathustra.
Of course, the sun is Zarathustra, and the alternative he poses. Like the sun, he is high above them, but his gravitational force pulls everything that is deep and worthy towards him, making it part of his philosophy. When his light will shine bright in our culture, the philosophies of the Immaculate ones will fade away.